Have you ever wondered how a handful of colonies evolved into the world's leading superpower? Our narrative begins thousands of years ago when the first Native Americans crossed an ancient land bridge from Asia into what we now call North America. These pioneering tribes spread across the continent, establishing diverse cultures that thrived long before the first European footfall. The stage was set for a new chapter in history when, in the late 15th century, European explorers ventured across the vast Atlantic. The pursuit of wealth, religious freedom, and scientific curiosity led to the discovery of a new world, sparking a race among powerful European nations to stake their claim. The English in particular established 13 colonies along the eastern seaboard. These colonies, each distinct in character, were the seeds from which the United States would grow. They were places of hope and hardship, their stories woven with the threads of human courage, ambition, and the unyielding desire for freedom. In the heart of the 18th century, the winds of change were stirring. The colonial era reached a turning point with the First and Second Continental Congress, where representatives of the colonies gathered to voice their frustrations against British rule. The tensions between the mother country and her colonies had been simmering, and the Congress was a platform where these issues were brought to a boil. This led to the American Revolution, a brutal and transformative conflict that lasted 8 long years. The colonies, united under a shared cause, fought against the might of the British Empire for their right to self-governance. In the sweltering summer of 1776, the Declaration of Independence was drafted. This pivotal document, a daring proclamation of freedom and equality, marked the dawn of a new nation. The United States of America was no longer an abstract idea, but a living, breathing entity. From a cluster of colonies, a new nation was born, ready to carve its own destiny. This is the story of that nation's dawn, the first chapter in the epic narrative of the United States. As the sun rose on this young nation, so too did the promise of a future filled with possibility and the challenge of fulfilling its lofty ideals. But how did this young nation navigate through the tumultuous waters of its early years? This question takes us back to the formative years of the United States, a period characterized by profound challenges and monumental decisions that would define the trajectory of the nation. One of the initial challenges was drafting the Constitution. The Founding Fathers grappled with creating a document that would not only govern the land, but also encapsulate the ideals of freedom and democracy. This monumental task saw the emergence of the United States Constitution, a masterpiece of compromise and the cornerstone of American democracy. With the Constitution as a guide, the establishment of a federal government was the next hurdle. Balancing the powers of the central government with the rights of the individual states was a delicate act. But through careful deliberation and negotiation, a system of checks and balances was established, ensuring no single entity held unchecked power. Then came a period of geographical expansion. The Louisiana Purchase in the early 19th century doubled the size of the young nation, catapulting it to the forefront of global attention. This acquisition was a bold move, demonstrating the nation's ambition and setting a precedent for its future growth. Next, the War of 1812 tested the United States' mettle against formidable foreign powers. Despite the odds, the fledgling nation held its ground, proving its resilience and fortitude on the global stage. The climax of these growing pains, however, was the Civil War. This internal conflict, stemming from deep-seated divisions over slavery and states' rights, threatened to tear the nation apart. But from the ashes of this devastating conflict, the United States emerged with a renewed commitment to unity and equality. Each of these challenges, from the drafting of the Constitution to the aftermath of the Civil War, played a pivotal role in shaping the United States. These were not merely events in a history book, but the crucible in which a nation was forged. Through trials and tribulations, the United States emerged stronger, unified, and poised for growth. The growing pains of this young nation were indeed severe, but they were also the catalyst for its transformation into the powerful and influential entity we know today. How did the United States transform from a young nation to a global superpower? This is the question that has intrigued historians for decades. The answer lies in the tumultuous events of the 20th century, a time when the world was reshaped by war, economic upheaval, and social change. The early part of the 20th century saw the United States drawn into two world wars. The nation's involvement in these conflicts was pivotal, helping to tip the scales in favor of the Allies on both occasions. The United States emerged from the Second World War as one of the world's dominant powers, its military might and economic strength unrivaled. But the journey was not without its challenges. The Great Depression of the 30s brought the country to its knees, with millions of people out of work and widespread poverty. Yet America demonstrated its resilience, using this period of hardship to implement important social and economic reforms. These changes helped to lay the foundation for the prosperity of the post-war years. The mid-20th century was also a time of significant social transformation in the United States. The civil rights movement challenged the entrenched racial segregation and discrimination, leading to landmark legislation that guaranteed equal rights for all citizens, regardless of their race. This struggle for equality was emblematic of the nation's commitment to uphold the principles of liberty and justice. The latter half of the century was marked by the Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension between the United States and the Soviet Union. Despite the threat of nuclear conflict, the United States stood firm, advocating for democracy and freedom around the world. The end of the Cold War saw the United States emerge as the sole global superpower, its influence felt in every corner of the globe. From the battlefields of Europe to the struggle for civil rights at home, from the depths of the Great Depression to the heights of the Cold War, the United States navigated the turbulent waters of the 20th century with determination and resolve. From a young nation to a global superpower, the United States has indeed come a long way. So, what have we learned about the history of the United States? We've traced the origins of the United States from its inception as a nation born out of the desire for self-governance and freedom. We've navigated through the turbulent waters of its early years, beset with challenges of establishing a new government, unifying diverse colonies, and fighting for its very survival. We've seen the United States endure a bloody civil war, yet emerge stronger, more united, and on a path toward healing and growth. In the 20th century, we witnessed its rise as a global superpower driven by innovation, economic prowess, and an unwavering commitment to democratic values. The United States has continuously evolved, adapting to the changing times while never losing sight of the ideals upon which it was founded. The history of the United States is a testament to the indomitable spirit of its people, a story of resilience, determination, and a relentless pursuit of progress.